Hi, I'm Mary Mamalidi, and today we're making a dish that sounds incredible. Pork tenderloin with root vegetables. I can't wait. I love the sizzle of butter melting in a pan, the smell of cinnamon while I'm baking. I need to touch food while it's cooking and, of course, taste it, even if I can't see it very well. To me, cooking should be fun. That's why I've invited chefs from across Canada who feel the same way I do to cook with me, virtually. Welcome to Dish with Mary. Joining me from his home kitchen in Alberta is Chef Blair Lebsack. He's the owner and executive chef of the award-winning farm-to-table eatery, Range Road. Also the butchery by Range Road, which we're going to talk about a little later. So Blair, let's start cooking. Where do we begin?
Well, I guess, just a brief rundown of what everyone has in front of them now. We have a piece of pork tenderloin, large enough for 2 servings on a plate, along with a medium-sized bowl of cooked farro and another of root vegetables. So farro is a really nice grain, but it's going to carry all the flavors of the sweetness of the root vegetables. The pork tenderloin will start to sear in a cast iron pan and be adding a tablespoon of juniper berries and a tablespoon of sumac. Sumac has that lemony citrus with a touch of floral to it, and then the juniper berry. Juniper berries I like just because it adds a little bit of fruitiness, which goes really well with pork. And then we're finishing it up with some guanciale or smoked pork jowl. We have some spring onions, some garlic and shallots that are going to be seasonings. So all these things are going to come together. We'll call this a 2-pot wonder. So that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to get started on this pork tenderloin. So we're going to preheat our pan.
Okay, to preheat the pan, are we doing medium-low?
Yeah, I'd say medium pan.
Next.
And then now we're just gonna take a little bit, I have some pork fat here, so I'm just gonna take a spoon and just brush this on my pork, and then I can just rub it in with my tongs, give it a flip.
I don't have pork fat, so I've got canola oil. Is that okay?
Canola oil is perfect. I think what we're trying to look for here is just a high heat oil, so one that's gonna have a high smoke point, so that's why you're not using one of your fancy extra virgin olive oils.
Okay, so a little drizzle, and then I'm twisting and I'm just rolling the pork tenderloin within the canola oil on the plate.
Yeah, and then now we're just gonna salt it. Don't be too shy with the salt. Do that on both sides, and now you're ready to go put this in the pan. Are you ready for that?
I am.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, I like hearing that sizzle sound.
Yeah. And the other thing about cooking pork or any protein is don't be afraid to adjust your temperatures. Like sometimes people think that high heat means that they always have to be on high heat. So you can put it on high heat and get a nice little browning on it, but then you can turn it down as well.
How I test my pan. What I do is I actually place my hand over top. And if it's too hot where I have to pull away quickly, then my pan's too hot.
That is a fantastic tip. Yes, I agree completely. And we actually use wood burning ovens at the restaurant. Stick the hand in, and if you know how far you can get your hand into the oven, you know what temperature it's at.
Perfect. Am I flipping yet?
I am rotating.
And what do you say per side?
2 minutes.
Okay.
Just 2 minutes.
Okay, I've got a question for you. Why pair the carrots and the parsnips with the pork tenderloin?
I really like root vegetables. Again, they have a natural sweetness to them, and so when you're getting a really nice carrot, you're pulling out the natural sweetness, and I hate just using like sugary glazes and stuff like that, so I always look for natural sweetnesses.
So we've got it roasting in the pan. Is it going to be a complete cook in our pan?
Nope, that is, we are just trying to get a nice little sear on this one, and then we're gonna slide it into a preheated oven. We've preheated our ovens to 375 degrees, and again, that will just mean that we only have to roast it for about 5 minutes in the oven. It'll just kind of finish cooking in there. So now I'm going to roll the tenderloin to the final side. And then now we're gonna hit it with this juniper berry and the sumac.
Okay, this I'm excited about. I've used sumac, which is the nice lemony like you mentioned. So it's a powder, it's ground. Mm-hmm. And then with the juniper berry, it reminds me of like a peppercorn. So it's the size of like a peppercorn. But when you crush that up, it's almost got like a sweetness from it.
Yeah, definitely. Now we're just going to finish rolling it around in the pan. So now we're great. We're gonna go into the oven with this. Just finish roasting this in a 375 oven.
Okay. See you soon. Is that weird that I talk to my food as it goes into the oven?
It's very adorable to talk to your food. So there we are, roasting away. And this is the nice thing about a quick family dinner like this, is now we can get started, because these vegetables are gonna take, a good amount of time. And then just by the time they're getting halfway cooked, we're gonna be dumping in the farro, and then this whole dish can kind of come together, layering in the flavors of onion and garlic. So now we can start preheating our next 10 or 12-inch pan.
Okay, am I good to use a non-stick for this?
Yeah, you are. I am as well.
And again, I gotta do my heat test. Okay, that's heating up.
So if you want to chop your garlic, because once we start on it, we won't have time to turn our backs too much on this. So we're just gonna chop our garlic.
And of course, I grab the biggest knife to chop 1 clove of garlic.
This is where preferences are totally your call. If you love garlic and you want to add more garlic than this, you can. If you don't like garlic and you don't want to add garlic, it's not the end of the world.
Okay, so I just smashed my garlic to peel it.
Yep, 100% great way to do it. I just did your test of holding my hand over the pan to check the heat, and I like that. And now I know I'm ready to go. So now we're gonna start in the pan. So now we're gonna be going canola oil, pork fat, whatever you want to do. So oil, vegetables, and then we're gonna let that saute for a few minutes and then add the farro into it. And then we're gonna finish it with shallot and garlic from there.
Okay, oil.
Oil into the pan.
So about what, a tablespoon or so, or?
Yeah, a tablespoon and a half.
There we go. Just drizzled that in my pan.
And now we're gonna throw the carrots in. And again, this is doesn't have to sear instantly. They do have some natural sugars to them, so you don't want the hottest pan ever. That's why we kind of say medium heat again.
Okay, we chopped up 2 carrots and 1 parsnip to like a small dice. How big would you say they would be? Half an inch?
Yeah, half an inch, quarter inch probably. Mine, I hear it sizzling and I'm happy with how it's going. And we're gonna be reaching in to grab the pork, and that pork is gonna start to rest now.
Okay, so pull it out.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was too busy focusing on my vegetables.
How does it feel? Does it still have lots of bounce to it? Do you need to cook it a bit longer? Or?
No, mine has bounce.
Okay, so you can put yours back in the oven then. It should be fairly firm.
No, mine is bouncing. Back in?
Yeah. And now our carrots are sauteing away. A little bit of color on our carrots, which is bringing out that natural sweetness on there, so it's cooking just beautifully. And now we're gonna add our farro in. I can't hear if they're sizzling or not. Do you have some sizzle in your pan?
We're sizzling over here.
Okay, I'm gonna put my farro into the pan now.
How much farro did we pre-cook here?
1 cup of farro, which will cook into just over 2 cups of cooked farro.
Now, with the farro, what I love about it is, 1, loaded with nutrients, but it mimics rice.
Yeah, it's like a wheat berry, so it's the grain of an einkorn flour.
I just gave mine a stir.
Okay, so we're kind of partway through cooking this farro dish, but we need you to check your pork tenderloin.
Oh, yes.
That might be done cooking now, so if you can pull that out of the oven.
Oh, this smells good.
And that pork is gonna start to rest now.
Okay.
Okay, back to the farro dish. So now we're gonna put in our shallots and our garlic. So the shallot goes into the pan, and that's like a nice heaping tablespoon worth. And then now that 1 clove of garlic is going in, and we're just gonna stir this around. And garlic is always just, you don't put it in first just because it always burns on you, so it's nice to add in at this point. And then now we're going to go in with our chicken stock.
How much of this am I pouring in?
1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of chicken stock, because we do want this end dish to be, what I call fairly loose, where it's absorbed but still fairly loose. Now we're gonna have to taste this as we go for salt.
Oh, I need salt.
So we're gonna hit it with probably about 2 teaspoons of salt right now.
Okay.
And then now we're gonna add just a 1/2 teaspoon of the silk chili flakes, or whatever kind of spice that you want in there, just for a little touch of heat.
I just sprinkled mine over top.
Okay, and now we're just gonna finish it with our butter, spring onion, and our herbs are all just gonna finish this dish off now.
Okay. Butter. How much butter are we using?
So the butter, I said 1/2 stick. A pound of butter would be cut into 4 sticks. So that's a 1/4 pound, so 1/8 of a pound of butter in my quick math. And so now we have the green onion and the butter stirred in there. And then now I'm just gonna finish it with the chopped herbs. And the chopped herbs came out to kind of 1 nice tablespoon of chopped herbs, and that was parsley and thyme that we used in this recipe. A lot of herbs are really nice with this. So kind of your call as to what you want to add into it.
Yeah, I love herbs.
And everything is good. I'm happy with mine. I'm going to turn off the heat.
I'm good.
In the recipe, we said let it rest for 8 minutes, the pork. Letting your meat rest is really important because now it's kind of absorbing those juices back into it. If you cook it when it's really hot, all the juices are flowing too much and they just then go all over your cutting board rather than onto where you really want them, which is left in the meat. So we should let it rest a little while longer.
You got it. It's starting to smell amazing in here. When we return, we'll get to hear more about Chef Blair. You're watching Dish with Mary. Welcome back to Dish with Mary. While our pork is resting, I'd like to learn more about you, Blair. So where did your passion for food come from?
I've always had a passion for food. Definitely my earliest memories kind of revolve around food. I remember, like, I was born on a farm, so I remember, making ice cream where my mom would make me churn the ice cream. We would get milk, set it on the counter so that the cream would separate to the top. So very early memories of food, and that always led me into the food world. But it was definitely the kitchen that evolved all of that, because the kitchen is a really exciting place. And I think when you see the possibilities that you can do with restaurants, with food service, and all the different aspects of it, I think that's where you can see the creativity, your imagination starts to fly. And I think that's just where my career started from, was knowing that wherever I was didn't mean that that's all you were ever going to do with food. You could see the possibilities, and then going further, like owning my own restaurant and now a butcher shop, and those sort of things were just the evolution of it.
So becoming a chef, was this something that you always wanted or always thought you would do?
As a young person, I think I always did think I was going to be, some sort of, fireman or astronaut or something like that. So it definitely wasn't one of my young passions by any means. But I think as soon as I started to, dine out, I did know that I really loved restaurants. I knew that I loved food, that sort of thing. So from that point on, then I could see myself, getting into it, and that's kind of how it all started. Was like I have this urge to go and do it, so I need to just hop into it and see what happens. And I just loved it right from the very beginning.
Okay, so let's talk about your own restaurant, Range Road.
Yeah, so Range Road, to us, Caitlin and I started this, and from there, we started actually just doing farm dinners, and it was to kind of get the word out there that we were starting a farm-to-table restaurant. So before we opened our brick and mortar restaurant, we did just do dinners out on farmers' fields, and so we would invite people out to the farm. We'd sit in the middle of a pasture where the cows were literally walking past us, and we would have multi-course dinners in the middle of a farmer's field. And from there, we got to really know our farmers and our products, and we have great people that work on our team that kind of bring that all together. And we think we have a really wonderful blend of what we call kind of that country hospitality in the city, where we're still trying to be inventive and kind of new with the food.
So your menu changes regularly, I believe.
Yeah, and that's really around the basis of our restaurant. So when we started the restaurant, we said farm to table, and what we meant by that was, have farms that raise specific animals for us. We have a couple farms that grow vegetables for us. They ask us what we want to grow for the season, right from our garlic to our onions to our herbs, everything in between we do. We have grain farmers that mill our flour for us, and we don't really want to waste anything. We don't want to wreck anything. So everything kind of takes on that personal challenge that, we know John that got us this Farro. We know Danny that helped raise this pig. And so all those sort of things come in, and you really focus a lot more when you're using, when everything's kind of a bit more, has a personal touch to it, and you get to be, more creative and just make sure that you're using everything. Makes our restaurant really kind of tick how it is.
Okay, using everything. Can we tap into that a little bit? Because, I'm Italian, come from an Italian background. Parents always told us use everything, every part.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly it. We're doing everything from juicing vegetables to, doing our own preserves, or we'll pickle all our own vegetables. And then in the animals, we do everything from use the whole animal. We have an item on the restaurant called questionable bits. And so it allows us to round out everything, be very creative, and put out some really wonderful things. So people sometimes don't know that they like beef tongue until we serve it to them in a really wonderful way. And then they're like, oh, I do like beef tongue.
Yeah, they tried to sell me on tripe when I was younger.
Yeah, tripe, it's a hard sell until, you don't tell someone what it is and they're eating it, and then you tell them what it is, and it's absolutely delicious.
Depending on how you cook it.
Yeah, depending on how you cook it. We're not inventing anything new here. We're kind of going back to the older way of doing things, and that is getting in whole animals and figuring out how to, butcher it the best for your purposes. And so that's one new thing, is that with the new butcher shop, there's retail meat cutting, and then there's, a butcher shop that does things with the whole animal. And so for us, we don't just have one steak on the menu because we're butchering a side of beef that day for the restaurant. Then we'll have everything from strip loins to tenderloins to the merlot, all these different cuts of meat, and then that allows us that educational time with our customers as well, and the guests that are coming in. We tell them what we think the best steak of the day is. If we're doing pork, we try to do a lot of things that are kind of using multiple cuts in a dish, so pork tenderloin and pork jowl, those sort of things. So we're always trying to think of nice combinations, and it gives us the opportunity to let people know what our restaurant's all about.
I love it. Thanks, Blair. I don't know about you, but I'm getting hungry. When we return, Chef Blair is going to show us how to plate our dish, and then we can dig in. Stay tuned for more Dish with Mary. We now return to Dish with Mary. We're back with Chef Blair, and it's time to plate our dish. So I'm terrible at plating. Where do we begin? How do we do this?
Well, I guess for starters, don't be intimidated by plating. It's just getting the food onto the plate. But we went to all this effort of cooking it. We wanted to make it look nice. So now we have the pork tenderloin that is breasted. So when you touch it, it won't feel hot, but that's a good thing because that means that the juices are sucked up inside. It should still just be warm. And I remember what we cooked was 2 portions. So now you're basically cutting this into equal slices. If you're getting 4 slices per person or 5 slices per person, you're just gonna cut that and start, a nice 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch thick.
So I'm slicing mine. And do we want like a little pink in it?
We do want pink in it.
Yay.
Definitely want pink in it.
Yay.
And then what we want to do is we want to take our farro, and we're going to put that kind of a nice heaping spoon of it in the center of our plate. Again, we kind of cooked this recipe for 2 people, so we want a nice heaping spoon because it's going to go into the center of the plate. And then we're just going to take the back of our spoon and just spoon it around the outside. So the farro has all of the flavor and root vegetables, and it has a little bit of sauce running out of it and everything. And so it's just exactly like you're doing, and that's a great amount. And then you're just going to kind of flatten that out on the plate.
I'm just spreading it. I guess it's the inner circle of the plate.
Inner circle of the plate, yeah.
Okay.
And then we're just going to lay the pork down flat around the plate. So depending on how many slices you got per person, I have 4 slices.
Okay. And four pieces, right?
Yeah, and then just equally spaced out so it kind of makes it all the way around the plate. And then now the guanciale, or in my case, the smoked pork jowl.
Now, I want to talk about this, the guanciale and the smoked pork jowl. What's the difference between the 2?
Well, guanciale is a cured product, so it just takes longer. It'll have a touch different feel. It'll be a little bit firmer and maybe a touch saltier. Whereas mine, the smoked pork jowl, has a light cure on it, and then we've smoked it to temperature. So again, a bit more smokiness from the one that I'm using, but again, pretty similar.
And again, it reminds me like a consistency of bacon, but sliced really thin.
Yeah, sliced really thin. And now we're just going to take some of our greens.
I know, and yours are so pretty. You've got, what do you have as your greens? I just have arugula.
So I have mustard greens, so I have scarlet frills, I have some miner's lettuce, I have red vein sorrel on mine, and then I have some of the begonia flowers. And from there, we're just kind of layering these in between again.
Okay, so I'm trying to follow you. I've just put my arugula just randomly on top of all the pork tenderloin medallions.
Yeah. And then we have the shallots, which is 1/2 of a shallot cut into thinly sliced rings. And then it's just a few of those on there.
So I'm just sprinkling my thinly sliced shallots over top. And I say thinly because I'm so proud as to how thin I got them.
Yeah.
Tooting my own horn.
And there we are. We are done.
We're done.
Okay, we get to enjoy. We should probably enjoy this with a glass of wine.
I would love that.
Okay, well, I actually have someone that knows wine very well here with me. My wife, Caitlin Fulton, is here to talk about some wine.
Okay.
Hi, Mary.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well.
Good. So today, for a wine pairing, we chose Canadian Cabernet Franc Cabernet Franc is a great underappreciated grape. Goes super well with food, pairs with a variety of dishes, and it is the grandparent grape to Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot, and just needs a little more appreciation, I think.
And pairs well with pork.
Pairs very well with pork.
So should I go ahead and pour mine as well?
I think so.
Okay. Okay, well, cheers.
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 Oh wait, before I let you both go, let's have a taste of the dish.
Okay.
I'm trying to grab a little bit of everything here. This is delicious. So good.
Worked out well.
And simple to make. Thank you so much. It was lovely meeting you both, and thank you for cooking with me.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers. For today's full recipe, visit our website at ami.ca/dish. Host, Mary Mamalidi. Guest chef, Blair Lebsack. Executive producer, Michelle Dudis. Producer, Lance Corbett. Directors of photography, Brian Roy. Kelly Wolfert. Camera assistants, Gavin Lee, Braden Rook. Sound recordists, Phil Dransfield. Mike Monson. Editor and technical producer, Patrick Kelly. Editor and production assistant, Miriam Bakhtiar. Graphics, Mike Smith. Media accessibility specialist, Simone Cupid. Audio post, Mike Monson. President and CEO, David Arrington. Copyright 2021, Accessible Media Inc.